know for a fact that this is a bad idea because I'm warping into Fiji and.
Good luck, sir.
Oh well, I see a light at the end of this tunnel, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
Is Fiji on Anya?
Yes, it is. It's on Anya, and it's Panda's like largest base, and I think that everybody understands that this base has so much decor inside of it.
Ah, damn! Everything shows up as yours.
Oh, sweet! It all belongs to me now.
Everything the sun touches.
There's wizards. Well, majority of it's yours, unless you have like 6 bases on. This is base. Chip City is base.
Man, this calzone is so good.
Into the door space.
Like, I can't even believe it.
Stark Wolves.
Alright. Boom, 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 boom.
I need something sweet to eat. Oh, there's sword space. Oh, you're there? You said...
No, I'm still warping, but...
No, I should see your player icon pop up. And a poopy space. Hidden Jew agenda space. Swords. Dark Wolf.
Man, I can't believe I just did this. Like, without even thinking, I was like, oh, it's Fiji. I should probably just, like, go there, because I know it's on Pidstain. And then, like, here, lo and behold, I'm probably, like, going to get stuck in this warp screen forever. That's whatever. You know what? I have an entire bottle of red wine to drown in my sorrows while I'm stuck between the 9th and 10th dimensions. This is a long warp. It's a real long warp. Hey, .com is up in the chat. What's up, man?
Oh, shit. You
Bear with
good?
me, dude, because I don't know why I chose to do this, but I decided to use the terminus and go to Fiji. So, hey, Panda's in the chat. What's up, dude?
Oh, shit.
And so I'm warping into Fiji, Panda, and I'm sure you would agree that this was a very mindless choice that I made. And
I can't even find Fiji. Half of them are your base. The other half are actually people in the FDI. Like, I see Stark Wolf's base, I see Into the Doors base,
Everything the sun
the
touches.
Wizard's base, but then, like, the rest of them are all belong to you.
It all belongs to
So
the man.
I can't seem to find Fiji.
Well, I can't seem to either. Like I said, I'm stuck between the.
I'm stuck in perpetual terminus. You're
think I
Doctor
might
Who
be,
right now.
Actually.
How long should I
Tell me who
wait
it belongs
before I decide that I'm in a bug?
to. Wait till Beyond drops.
Man, what was I thinking? Why did I teleport into Fiji?
I don't know. You made the choice. I told you to. If you're doing anything with Pidstain, warp to the space station.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. Because I think it's.
Unless you're warping to your own base.
This is.
I'm just gonna pull your. But there ain't nobody watching mine.
Oh man, I think that there's nothing I can do. I think that I'm stuck. I don't know what else to do. So. I think I've got to close the game. Gosh. Panda. Fiji is so real.
It's gonna cut off your live stream.
Oh, it is too. My PS4.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much I can do about it. My PS4 is like having an aneurysm right now.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess that you know what, guys? I'm afraid that I don't believe we. Wait! Oh my God! All right, cool. So I can. Oh, this is gonna be scary. Oh no!
What?
Oh no! Fiji hasn't
Oh,
popped in
you
yet.
did it?
I gotta run. I gotta
It just
run.
said you entered the system.
Yep, and Fiji hasn't popped in yet, so I have to run before it pops in around me and I get stuck.
I'm looking for
Panda
your
said
icon.
leave immediately.
Leave.
Oh man.
You still can.
Oh no, no. I'm sorry, ship. I understand that you didn't ask for this kind of a death, but I can't save you.
You know what they say about Fiji? Can't get any further away before you start coming back.
Oh yeah. How many in the stream? Right now in the stream.com is me and Arsenal. He's gonna co-host with me while we go over some details on these light fixtures and how to hide them.
I'm looking for you, but I don't see you anywhere.
Oh, I'm
On cyberspace.
in the ocean swimming with the fish, looking at these really weird breathing plants that kind of make me feel like I'm on acid or something. This is terrifying. To be honest, these are actually absolutely horrifying. like like whenever I see these plants underwater that like breathe like this, it is so eerie and creepy to me. Hey, you know
You
what?
have your player
Actually,
marker on and stuff?
let me make sure. Friends only, yeah, on foot. Ooh, Panda says, I wonder if we will be able to give each other a ride and beyond. That is actually
well,
a really good question.
Yeah.
My ship's over there. I wonder if I can land a ship right here.
I don't know.
Probably not. Nah, that makes sense.
I'm
Cool.
Well, we need to go to Knobs anyway, right? Or Knobbies?
Yeah, but the problem is that since I came into Fiji, Fiji hasn't popped in, and I'm not going near it, so I've got to, like, I'm pulling a Michael Phelps right now, and I'm doing some long distance swimming. Like, oh man, what was I thinking?
I'm gonna go ahead and head to
That
Knobbies.
that would actually be really cool if we could give people rides in Beyond, because me and Arsenal were just talking a moment ago about how PvP would really be stepped up if we had a more effective exocraft on exocraft combat. Me and him did some experimentation, and we found out that you can damage the player while they're in their exocraft, but I think it was only if you're in your own exocraft. Is that right, Arsenal?
I think so.
I think that's what we found out. And so that would be really great if you could get people to ride along, because then there's other questions that might open up. Does either person receive equal damage, or does it get split between the two of them? And even more so, then, like, can my homie hop in my exocraft, and then while I drive up to a base, can he just hop out and start gunning people down? Because that would change everything about exocraft combat.
If any of the land vehicles should carry another player, it should be the Colossus.
Bam. I'm going to throw a quick thank you to Panda real quick, because this sexy whip that just flew in out the sky was my first ship, and I was just a nice little plebe, a noob among the No Man's Sky players. And he hits me up and he says, "Yo, man, do you want an S-class fighter?" And I was like, "Of course I do." He didn't tell me that it literally looks like the ship from Galaga, so, like, naturally, I'm never going to be able to get rid of this ship. Alright, guys, we are going to the Rave Grave. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
I don't think I'm going to the
Oh, that was close, guys. Ooh, I froze while I was leaving the atmosphere. Is that Nabes? No, that's Saida. You know what's really interesting about this game? Seeing how we all pronounce the planets differently.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
my
there it
favorite
is.
part.
Name's just hidden behind fucking nope.
Mm. Pardon me, y'all, if you hear me eating this awesome calzone. Yes, Panda
Destroy
from the
streams.
Hidden Panda Show says Fiji destroys streams. Chimp City has prevailed. Yes, I'm really happy that I do feel like I just narrowly escaped my demise. I feel like as soon as I came into the area, like honestly, the instant I got to the terminus and I clicked Fiji and it started the warp screen, I realized that I had made a grave mistake. And as you saw, Fiji wasn't popping in, which means that if I probably hadn't left immediately, I'd have been screwed. Oh, are you kidding me? This would be awesome.
I thought you would immediately through the train and start falling.
Oh, dude, I'm surprised I didn't just crash. Let's see. Hopefully Beyond will destroy Beyond.com says hopefully Beyond will destroy Fiji's rep. You know what? Like honestly, I agree entirely. I think that would be great if Fiji could just pop in with ease and we could all enjoy it, because I do believe that I have yet to get my console to handle the magnitude of Fiji to where I can just walk around and see all the detail and the decorations that's been put around it. So, like Panda's told me there's a sign that says Fiji that pretty much lets you know if things have popped in all the way. And what is this? Why is that there? I don't know. But I see you, Arsenal. But yeah, he told me if you see that sign that says Fiji, you can get yourself pretty acquainted with the fact that everything's popped in place. But I've never seen that sign on my own console, so I'm pretty sure I've been missing out on the finer details. Let's see. Hey, travelers, good morning. Did you read the article in Game Reader where they talked about Tuesday? That was a weird... You are Godsmack. I'll be honest. Yeah, that you said typo at the end of your comment, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you to restate that in a way that I can read that everybody understands, because I'm confused myself. But whatever happened on Tuesday, I probably didn't hear about. What is it that you heard? Oh, what did they talk about Tuesday?
Your Game Radar where they...
So I'm going to, now that you guys are in here watching me, there's Delta Tesseracts. Where's my base? Is that it? Right over there?
That's where that was.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. If somebody, like, goes to the Rave Grave and puts a comm station at the entrance, like, you better believe I will harass you until, like, you just don't like this game anymore. That base is hidden. Don't you dare ruin the fun. I don't know if this is it. I can't tell. Oh, wait, no, that's it right there. The black. See, this is how messed up I am. Your base is hidden by a black reticle from a beacon. There's an article in the magazine. Panda from the Hidden Panda Show says there was an article in a magazine that said the update would drop on Tuesday, but I wouldn't think on it too much. It'll be Wednesday. I would take what Sean Murray said, and I think that's what Panda's going off of. Yeah. But yeah, so this is actually a tip that, speaking of hiding things, since we're here, notice how hard it was to see my base computer's reticle coming in. You almost could not even frickin' see it at all. And that is kind of, like, that's totally on purpose at least, but that's kind of lucky at the same time. The only way that I managed to do that is I painted the beacon itself black. And then I had to put it literally directly above the base computer, and when you're far enough away, the base computer's reticle is underneath the beacon, and the beacon is black, So, for instance, at night, there's no hope. Like you can't like you basically got to kind of know what you're looking for in order to find it. Now, speaking of knowing, let's see. This is south. Now, I think if I'm not mistaken, I built this about 200 units south. Or was it north? Yeah, Arsenal. You know where you're going.
It's somewhere around here. The
It's
main
about
entrance is somewhere
250
this way.
units. Yeah. Do.
Yeah, I guided Panda to it. This isn't the main entrance, but this is close. This is one of the walled off sections. Is this the main entrance?
Yes, you are
Hey,
right there.
I found it.
Bam. Ain't that pretty at night though? I love that.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful.
I just.
This is what we were trying to. I was trying to drag Panda to the other night when we fought with Snow
Right,
and
so,
Slade.
To start, Chimp. .com says Chimp. Put your own comm ball at the structure where the base comm is, and ask people not to mark the entrance. Too many people will see the PvP stream, and I don't recall you asking to keep it hidden. You are correct, .com. I have not asked very openly or clearly for people to keep it hidden, and I honestly I mean, it's not like that big of a deal to me, but that would be a wise thing to do is to put that comm ball there. I'll have to find a way to do it that doesn't with reticles too bad. But for the purpose of being here, I'm going to show you guys, for starters, I'm going to show you guys where I've hidden lights. So here we go. Bam. You see those? Like, I know you just got a glimpse of them. Those right there, that's it. Like, that's how I made that. So the way that you can tell which are which, this green light that's on the bottom of this is actually emitting from green light bulbs that are on the back of this quarter piece. And the way that you have to go about putting these here is that you would have to basically build everything around it from the inside, place a piece like this one here to block yourself out of it, and there are going to be angles that you can see the lights from. It's possible, but it's almost impossible to notice. Hidden Panda Show says, great advice, DK. He's right, actually. I really appreciate you mentioning that comm ball, because I didn't even think about the fact that I can leave notes for people in places. But so right here with this technique, what I've found was actually really nice about this is that it's actually still, it's hollow. It's not actually, it's a barrier that stops you, but it doesn't stop projectiles. And it kind of makes it feel like it's more spacious than it actually is, because you'll notice this is a claustrophobic little doorway right here. But with the space in between the wall pieces, it kind of allows you to feel like you're just breezing through. And so that's one technique. I've used that on one other base before, but it works really well with kind of just giving that ambient light. We're going to go on in. Hey, listen here, short stuff. Actually, I guess, wait, hold on. I think we are the same height, because I'm Gek height. Yeah, we're totally the same height. I have to see this now. Come here, bird person. Oh, you're actually still shorter than me. Darn it. I wanted to be tiny. All right. So, inside of this cave, the first thing that nobody's probably going to recognize very easily is how I've hidden the lights inside of the environment itself. So I'm going to go ahead and mine away some of the environment to expose some of these lights. Hidden Panda Show says, come here, bird person. Classic chimp. Hey, man, I'm trying to just keep the character in play, that's all. Bam. Now, you see that nasty mess that you couldn't see underneath that environmental piece? When you put down lights where a mineable substance used to be, you can actually place a light there And over time, eventually that mineable substance will return and hide them for you. Now, I put blue and green lights directly over each other in the place this material used to be, so that way it would kind of give more of a teal hue. You know, if you'll notice that it's not really quite just green or blue like the other areas where the lights are. Like that's blue light, and that's green light. And so that's another thing that I was going to try and make sure I show at some point is how to play with.
I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I noticed that the lights would overlay and they would blend like that, I lost my freaking mind. And that's kind of a part of how this whole idea became born. I was like, wait, like there's ways to play with color. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'll go around and show you guys the floor, what it looks like from the surface right here. And then I'm going to show you what that sort of thing looks like from underneath. And so you notice that when the light catches the floor, it's actually only on the vertical edge of its texture. The actual like flat top surface is just the same color as the ambient light in the cave. That is because the lights are actually hidden here in between the floor panels. And I'll show you guys how to do that too. But what that does is that casts the light, as you see it, across the floor panel, and it only hits the actual vertical standing surface. It doesn't catch the horizontal surface, and it kind of gives it that neon lining kind of effect. But when you go up topside, it's a lot more subtle. It's way more subtle. It's much more like it's almost holographic. So when you do this on a larger scale, you end up with a room kind of like this. You know, and like I picked for this room, .com says, question Chimp, are you able to do that under mineable elements so as not to interfere with stalagmite, stalactite formations in either floor? Actually, yes. I'll show you that right now. So this right here is this is a mineable element that has lights inside of it. It has pink and blue lights inside of it. And I think this one only has like 3 or 4. But the trick is you mine the material itself. There's 4. You mine the material itself, and then you put the lights directly where the material was, and over time it'll regrow and hide them for you. However, there are some lights, which this is right here, my favorite. I don't know how long it would take for most people to discover this. I discovered it by accident. Where are my lights? Here we go. So stalactites and stalagmites that you cannot mine, that do not get deleted under any case. What is this crap that's on my... Sorry guys, I realized just now that you're probably hearing whatever that is. I apologize. There's an ad playing on my phone. Whoa. What was that? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not doing that again. That was really scary. So, right here, here's a good example. Watch the light. If you take note of the light, as I roll it this way, it will begin to vanish underneath the stalagmite. And I believe I have red ones underneath this one. Yeah, and so if I put yellow there, it becomes orange. If I use green, it's more of a yellow.
Limeish, yeah.
Yeah, right. See, and so there are ways to the way that this Hidden Panda Show says you have to show me that cave planet later. Arsenal, it looks like we'll be making a trip back to that system. I just showed Arsenal that planet before we started this stream, and I'd be glad to go back and show everybody else.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This is basically just parts of the environment that you can't mine, but they don't prevent you from putting lights inside of it. And what this does is it catches the light in the same way it did the floor panels along the sides of it. It does cast the light along the wall of the cave, but it lights up the stalactite itself. So a stalactite that usually would just be impossible to see because it's dark is now visible. And like what this does in a cave that's dark, like you won't realize it till you see how dark a cave really is without the light. But this would just be a black roof. You wouldn't even really know how wide this cave was unless you had your flashlight on. Another one, and this is, in my opinion, the coup de grace of all of this, is so this staircase design, I actually owe the concept for how I built this completely to Panda, because me and him were just talking one night, and we were discussing ways that we could use lights, and he mentioned, like, what if you could put the light behind things, and it would cast like it does. And like he doesn't realize it, but that suggestion is what inspired the development of all of this. .com says that is how you got such great illumination in the other chamber. It looks like colored spotlights on these curtains of stalactites. Yes, that's exactly what I had to do, because we can't actually create a spotlight, you know? And so, but what bothered me in this cave was I could never see the stalactites, but they were everywhere. And then I discovered that by, like, again, total accident. Didn't even know that it could work. The other thing is here. These ones are a little easier to notice arbitrarily, but here you go. They're very buried in the grass. I put them like really down.
Oh,
So,
holy crap.
yeah, they're very
Yeah,
buried.
well, I thought that was all natural.
Nope. Nope. There's not a bit of light in this cave at
Wow.
all. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's...
I can't even... Oh, there's the first one I can actually see.
Yeah, there's some of them that are easy to spot, like especially from a distance. Like I just saw
Oh,
a couple.
it wasn't easy to spot. You gotta, like, hump for it.
I can see one right there, a blue one right there. And Panda Show says that was what she said. Oh man. So basically, inside of these staircases is lights, and this is going to bring us to the big point of this stream, which is how to hide lights inside of items. So we're going to find a little space over here to build in, and I'm going to start showing you guys the magic to the staircase. If anybody, here we go. I want to say in my opinion, the most adequate display of the light in this cave is going to be this staircase over here.
The grand one.
Yeah, that long one, just because it really kind of showcases how much of a difference lighting up a staircase can make. So, like, the way that this works is that you have to build the side panels first. So I'll do it right here.
Yeah.
This works fine.
Getting the railing.
Yeah, you got to get the railing down first. And that's a tricky process, because if you already know how to make railing for stairs, then you know that there's a bit of a step you have to take first. However, the first thing you have to do when you want to light up a staircase like that is you have to put the side panels, and then you have to put the lights before you put the stairs.
Yep.
So, because the stairs have to go on top of it. I find that, oh, I'm missing components? Well, that's not going to frickin' work for me. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. It wasn't easy to spot. The Hidden Panda Show says it wasn't easy to spot is what she said. Hey. Hey. She said she wasn't going to tell anybody about that. All right, let's go ahead and call in my builder ship. Where's Bob? Come on in, Bob. We need your help. Do you have what I need you to have? Oh, okay, so I'm just going to say, guys, I'm tired of renaming my ships. Dang it. Frickin' Hello Games and your awesome Beyond update coming up. You're stealing my swag over here. Oh, man, I barely have any ferrite in this thing anyways. That's rough. All right, so.
I got some in the ship.
Oh, yeah. Would you want to throw me some? I just need enough to build a few pieces.
Yeah, they come up to the service. And I got Panda away.
And
Come out the
so,
back door.
thank you guys all for jumping into my chat, by the way. I'm glad you guys are here to see this stream because I've been kind of like imagining myself explaining how this lighting stuff works to you guys for a while. .com says, isn't there someone that can hook a brother up? Oh, he's flying in. I've got him. Dun-dun. Oh, you went out the back door.
Yeah, that's why I said I was taking Panda's exit.
Panda's exit. Panda has his own VIP entrance.
That's his entrance.
You know what? I like that. I'm just gonna let him have it. That's great.
I just
Don't.
crashed.
Oh, come
I
back.
crashed trying to send it to you. I crashed trying to send you the items. That's what
That's
was
all
happening
right.
the other day when we were trying to fight here.
Well, I just dug away a piece of ferrite that I was going to collect, but all right, that's fine. I can go through here. There's ferrite all over this cave that I can mine. I don't really have to worry about it too much. Come on now. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, actually, .com mentions, nice job on the likes. He is right. Thank you guys for hopping in on that. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm watching the chat on my screen, and so I don't always get to see it. What's going on with the actual stream itself. All right, now I'm gonna just grab this ferrite. Wait, what are you doing? I'll grab this ferrite real quick. I'm gonna throw it together.
Yeah, I crashed.
Cool. Now, this is actually another big perk of building in caves, by the way, is that you're almost always surrounded by ferrite. So if you like to build with ferrite, you've probably got plenty of it in the cave that's going to respawn. And if you're a cheapskate like me, then you're just going to dupe it and not care. So, you know, hopefully they don't patch that out. .com says, Chimp, you've been Johnny on the spot with the chat. Seriously. Well, it is only fair to mention that it's up on my screen. There haven't been too many of you guys either, but I really appreciate that. I feel like I don't want you guys to hop into my stream and like not be heard. That isn't cool. So this is basically how it works. DK, what you got going on here is you got to realize that whenever you put the staircase in place, it's not perfect. Like, it doesn't perfectly line up with the actual railing, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Oh, darn it, it doesn't want to do it. What's in my way? Stop it. Get off of me. Why am I strafing to the right? What is that? I'm going to break my ankle in all these potholes. Alright, I'm just going to do it this way. Because that was giving me anxiety. Wow. How... I like that there's like 1,000 different ways one can go about putting these railings on, but like none of them like are actually easy. By the way, can you guys tell that that's like absolute freaking sarcasm? Well, .com says if they patch it out, there's always a space station and the visiting ships. Well, you know, that's awesome for billionaires. I mean, I've got a pretty good amount of units. I'm a billionaire too, I guess, technically. But I guess it doesn't sound awesome to somebody that really enjoys being super freaking lazy. So I'm having a hard time building this in here. So I'm just going to have to go outside because it's not working. I thought it might be possible to do it from inside the cave, but that is fine. Oh my gosh, the toxicity in this cave is so powerful, Arsenal. Like, it's so unreal. Arsenal, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Oh, there he is. There is a base on Anya that Hidden built.
Yeah,
I built
that
the right side of
toxicity I was
the
feeling with
staircase.
the against Slade and Panda. It was rough.
Yeah, it's because underneath a couple of boxes that I've placed are actually like 5 toxic plants that are stacked on top of each other. So,
Yeah.
like, and like, there's no way that All right, so I'm forgetting Arsenal. It's been so long since I've built that I'm forgetting how I did this. Like, I'm forgetting how I built the rails.
Um,
This is
I
embarrassing.
myself, I don't
Okay,
even know
so
where
it's
you are.
bam. I went outside so I could just build
Oh, you're
normally.
like up top?
Yeah, so typically the stairs want to be like that, but we're not going to do that because that don't fly for me. Um,
Hang
if
on.
you're watching this and
Oh,
you're
boy.
super freaking lazy someone. .com says, lol, if you're watching this and are super freaking lazy, find someone that has made a farm or vid on getting rich. Oh, among the umpteen vids out there. Hidden Panda says, there is a base on Anya that Hidden built. I built the right side of it in the staircase. You should check it out. It's near John Hall's base. It's on Anya? Alright, you know what? By the time we're done with this tutorial, there's nothing wrong with stopping by Anya and actually checking that base out. That would be pretty cool.
Damn it, Chimp. I can't get out of here. I can always find my way in, but I can never get the hell out.
Alright, so basically,
Oh, I think I found Panda's exit.
the trick to getting this stuff to hide inside of anything, I can go ahead and start with something else. Arsenal, if you want to come up here and build a rail, that would be really useful. Check
As
this
soon as
out.
as soon as I can find my way out of the cave.
Right here, what we have is one item that most people aren't going to realize. It works kind of like the stalactites. You see that? Now, the higher you go up it, the higher you go up it, it starts to angle. And then you get up into here, and you can hide it there. It's still slightly visible. I'm going to die out here. Just don't bother. Don't bother. I'm coming back in. There's a firestorm out here that's cooking my skin off of my body right now. Alright, bam. Oh my god. Too much. Okay, so as I was showing you there, bam, do you see this blue light? DK, if you look real close, you can see the blue light riding up. And if I come in here and I try and put a light inside of this archway, it will
When they get
frickin'
this out of the
hide.
way.
It will literally hide inside the surface of the wall. Now, this does not work on full archers at all. This only works on the half arches. And it only works on the concrete half arches. Oh, Darko, build a wall, then the stair, add a quarter wall at the top, delete the wall, and
Yeah, I know how to do it. I just need to get out of here, and I need resources from one of my ships. Oh, I found it. Found it. Found the exit.
and then basically the hardest thing that you can do in this entire cave is this floor. This is what I'll start by showing you guys right now, actually. And it's painstaking. If you want a floor that looks like this, you need to realize that every time you place a floor piece and you have lights inside of it, you're committed. There's no going back, because if you delete the floor piece, the lights go with it. You get your sodium back, but the lights go with it. So I'm going to show you with this floor right here. Get rid of you. All right, so the lounge is down below us. I'm going to pop out this piece. Bam, it's gone. Let's check it out. It's this simple, guys. And it honestly is this simple. But the only thing I can say as a rule of thumb, you want to put them about there. Okay? So, like, you want to put them, like, say, yay low. Because otherwise they're going to stick out of the floor. I don't know why. It's something about the angle and the dimension of the game. But it doesn't let you actually see where the item truly is until you move around it. And then we'll put pink here. And we'll put green here. And we'll go with the color scheme of the general base itself. That's what I've used primarily in all of this base is blue, pink, and green. And then now that those three are in place, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a floor panel. And this works on every item in the game, guys. And I mean it. Every single item in the game. You can... come on. Ooh. Bam. Now, you see that? You see how subtle that is? But it's there. You cannot see... You cannot... And bam, actually. Thank you for placing that there, Arsenal. That shows very well that actually definitely resounds the effect of the lights. Now, if he continues... Are you trying to put one on top of it?
Yeah.
Because that works as well.
I need another pipe, and then delete the one below it. Usually makes it a little easier. And then throw your light on top of that.
I like to use these because they're short, like me. All right.
There you go. Oops.
Now you can
Put
literally
there.
put lights between anything. You can put them between anything. I can put this here, and I'm going to put this here. And as soon as I come back to the pavement and I place it, bam. Now watch. Gone. Did you see that?
Yeah, the lights delete with the item.
They delete with the item. Now, if I decided I did not like the order of blue, pink, and green that I put over here, not only does the light delete with the item, but it's going to frustrate you later a lot once, because in this room, I can show you from underneath the floor. Whoa. In this room here, where I built this floor, it was a very long process because I had to place the lights here. And what I actually had to do was build a checkered board pattern and leave every other floor space empty. So I put this space here, and I put this floor space here, and I put that floor space. I left, and that way it would only have floor pieces in the style of a checkered pattern. And in each of the gaps, as you can see, you can tell which floor pieces were in place already, because the back of the light is against what was already there. And so this was already in place, and this was already in place, and etc. all the way along this angular line. I had to put all the lights in place. That was painstaking because every now and then you would have a light that you placed that was poking up above the floor, and it was very obvious, and sometimes it would shine in your face. And if I didn't delete the floor panel and try it again, then I wouldn't be able to do anything about that light sticking through the floor. But like I said, if I had 6 lights placed there, well, then I'd have to replace every one of them as soon as I deleted the floor panel. The same thing goes for this floor here all the way around. You can see, if you look closely, you can find the lights, but the idea is that they were put in a place that is okay, well, .com says if you do it on all 3 sides of the floor piece you put in, if you do it on all 3, that is basically what you get from this. This floor, the way that I tried to design it, to be honest, is I thought about the fact that people walk in here through this door. And so I tried to make as many of the lights as I could face the same direction that I'm facing now. So that way they cast the light in that direction and the light catches these walls. Because if I come over here, you'll notice it's not a big difference. It's really not, but there is a slightly brighter let off coming into the room. And when you only have so many of them, it's much easier to notice. Once I finish the whole floor, it's almost impossible to notice, really. But it does matter which directions the lights are facing, because the light that is this green right here is coming from a light that's facing that direction. A green light on that side will not cast the light on this side. Like, notice that on that edge right there, it's a very faint green light. That's because the light bulb's over here. And lights in this game only go so far. You know, like they really only go about half the distance of these floor panels. And so the green light that's between these floor panels, that's facing that way, is dim by the time that it touches that little tiny flat surface there. But there's a pink one right here, point blank to that flat surface there, and so it's very bright. Like, the holographic effect itself is only achieved by playing with the blending of hues. So here's a good example of how that works. As you look closer, you can start to see where they start to trade space. You know, and blue and green start to mix together, pink and blue and green. But when you mix enough of them together, you end up with less color and more white light. See how in between all four of them, it's not as much of either of the four colors. It's actually kind of just becoming white. And so they did put in a pastel gradient of color transitions in the lighting effects in this game. And because of that, I actually had to space the lights far enough in certain areas. Like, I think I can reveal the lights in this. Oh, it's daylight. I can't use them in here. I think I can reveal. Bam. All right. There's one. That's a light bulb. And that's another one right there. Bam. That's another light bulb. So this is what I was saying. The stairs, they go angular down this way, but what's not consistent with the stairs is the placement of the triangle itself. There's less space here than there is here. So when you actually place the lights, you have to avoid this big gap as much as you can, or else you end up with that. However, using the right kind of stairs, which in this case I used the metal stairs, using the right kind of stairs, you get to basically hide more because they're bulkier. And if I had used the concrete stairs, like I have over here, there's literally nothing on the side of those stairs, so they would not hide the light at all, as it does here. So it's sort of just a matter of you can use the stylization, but really it's not about the stylization in this case. I used these kind of stairs with these kind of rails specifically to hide the lights and allow the light to pass through them. So there's anything in the game pretty much you can put the lights inside of, or you can put over the lights, but there are going to be certain pieces that have more benefits to it. These here, for instance, I'll show you, do not hide lights at all. These half arches will not do it. Only the concrete ones do. I don't know why. I have no idea. I mean, who would know? But in order to circumvent that, as you can see, I just put them on top of lights. And there's a draw to using certain lights in certain settings. Ooh. Hidden Panda says, bro, you should really check out my stairs. It would give you some ideas for some future techniques. Bro, I'm going to, for sure. I'm definitely going to go through that base on Anya before the end of this stream. Hey, Arsenal, no problem, man. Thank you so much for co-hosting and hanging out. I really appreciate you coming by. That was a good PvP match that we had a second ago. And then, basically, you've got a couple of different. Man, this cave is so deadly. Oh my god. Stop. Why do they say that? Does anybody understand that? It says extreme subterranean toxicity, and then it says extreme night toxicity. Like, yo. What is this even, like, is there a special antidote I have to take after the sun goes down? Like this is messed up. So, I'm trying to think, is there much else that I can explain about how I hid these lights? Because I think I've covered most of the basics in the fact that you do have the liberty to put this stuff anywhere. You can hide these lights inside of staircases, in between the staircases and the rail. I'm going to say that the staircase is the most frustrating thing to try and do it with, because when you have one light poking out, you have to delete the staircase, and these, for instance, this set of stairs has 6 lights in it. It's got blue, pink, and then green, and then the same thing on the other side. Green, pink, blue. But if, say, this green light was placed a little too high and it was slightly visible, well, then I have to delete the staircase, and that's all 6 lights I have to place down again. Like, yeah, no kidding. Hidden Panda Show says, I agree, fuck stairs. Yeah, it's absolutely maddening trying to deal with stairs. Like, even if you're just building a staircase to get into a building, like, they want to hop everywhere and stick to crap you didn't even know, was within your field of view. Half the time, like, it's going to stick to something that's behind you, and, like, you can't see where they're trying to go. Concepts like this, in my opinion, these are the easiest ones to implement, and honestly, I feel like they're the most visually satisfying. There's something about the 3-dimensional effect to it that really, like, to me, like, just, like, I like looking at that. I like moving around and watching it move. It's very gratifying. Let's see, the stalactites, went over that. They go between every piece in the game, went over that. There are certain poles. I can show you what things did for them. Here we go. So I did an experiment here up at the top to try and illuminate this pillar. And so between each of these is actually blue and green lights. Or maybe they're just blue. Yeah, I guess they're just blue. But in between each of these pieces is blue lights, and it didn't end up illuminating the pillar. It just ended up illuminating the wall, and then these horizontal surfaces, because the lights are on the top and bottoms of them, so the light's going up and down, not side to side, and it won't hit the walls. Like, and I mean, I'm being so literal. Like, if you put this here, bam, hits the pillar. No problem. But if it's the light in this game, it only impacts things that are perpendicular to it. If something is parallel to itself, the light will not actually cast on it. So when you put them between these pillars and they illuminate the wall, The only reason I decided to leave that there was because it kind of made it look like the portal was glowing so powerfully that it lit that up. But like, I would say that that should be about it with what I did to get this stuff in place. Good grief. Um, yeah, lights in the grass. Oh, you know what? While we're here, I'm also going to show you guys how to manipulate the texture colors. So that right there, down there, what you just saw was a black pillar that I'd missed, and I'd meant to paint it white. Now, it is black and gold. It's hard to see, but if I can get that, it's black and gold. Oh my god, and it's poisonous as hell. Oh my god. Why? Why is this place so awful? Um, so if I go here and I go to concrete, wait, basic components. Oh my gosh, dude. This is unbelievable. Jeez, dude, there's no freaking way that I can do that. Okay. Now, when I pick a piece of equipment, I come here. Panda, I have tried to explain this to you once, and I don't know how clear I was on it, and so this might help a lot having a visual. When you go in, if you want to have concrete with black and gold, because if you'll notice here, white and yellow, white and white. These two floor panels are not the same, and that is because this is from the concrete color texture. This is from the wooden color texture. So how did I get concrete to paint with wooden color texture? It's a great question, because if you notice here, the black and, or well, the gold is, ah man, it's so hard to see it in here. The gold is actually wood. Like, this metal is actually in the texture of wood. See that? Like, there's wood grain instead of metal itself. The trick to doing that is by going and hitting equipment, whoops, going up. I like to do portable technology. It's just easier for me. And I go to wood. I select the color. You hit X, and then you hit circle, and you go back, and then you go to your building components. And now, ta-da! White with white wood grain hinges or brackets or whatever those are. Let's see, we got some action in the chat. .com says, seeing this makes me appreciate the mastery of what you've built here and more. Have you talked to any of the master glitch builders about this technique yet? I have not had the pleasure of sharing this with any fellow builders in the FDI. That is why I'm making this tutorial, is because I want the FDI to go ahead and chew on all these pointers and find wherever they think it might suit their own bases. Because honestly, I already feel like our hub has some of the most remarkable and unique bases among it, and this kind of lighting technique being slept on is just a shame. Like, I don't really feel like very postured for having discovered it, but I do feel really inclined to share it with all the fellow builders, because, like, I mean, it's, I can't tell you how much time I wasted trying to build this thing just walking around and looking at it. Like, it doesn't get old. It really doesn't, just seeing how much color can be packed into one place. But, like, I don't want to just get off to my own base on that. Like, I think I saw the Dragon's Keep, was it? Which had a lot of color. That was my inspiration for this base. Like, I saw what they did with the fission, or with the what's it called? these things, blah, and they set the different colors for them. And that's going to be the next addition to this club, is I'm going to put those everywhere and really make this place come to life. Kind of what inspired me to make this colorful experience was that I saw what he did with it, and I realized, like, wow, there's actually a lot more vibrancy to No Man's Sky than people let on. But so I can now show you guys how I can change this to, boop, see, bam. Now notice, I don't have concrete, wood, or metal choices anymore. The only way to get that is by going to your equipment. I choose to go into portable technology. I think you can do it with any of them. Yeah, you can. You have to go into one of their lists of blueprints, and it allows you to pick textures. You choose the one you want. You push up one more time to select it, and then you come back, and then you just select your material, and you can change its color. And so if I wanted it to be black and gold, then I would go, heck, I probably can do it here. Yep, I can do it here too. Bam. Wood, black, and yellow. And then, bam, solid black. That's, I forget, that's actually the trick to getting solid black. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not solid black. There's the gold. There is a solid black. I believe that it's metal. This is wood. The wood is what gives concrete a golden texture. Don't know why. I don't know if they did that on purpose either. I think that they actually might have done that on purpose, because the wood has... are you wanting me to try and turn wood into other textures.com? Is that what you're saying? Hidden Panda says, dude, I love what you did with the mixing of colors and textures. Man, Panda, you know, like, I appreciate that, because, like, that was one of the most fun parts of all of this for me, was just, like, kind of playing with the textures and the colors and finding out what can be done with it. Try a different color to show wood grain on concrete or metal. Okay, sure. Let's see. Bam. And so what is actually getting the wood texture is this strip right here. That's it. And so if I put a wooden piece of floorboard down, for instance, let's see what happens with this. Gosh, guys, don't you guys love our little building mechanic here? Isn't it? It's so freaking great. Like, all right, so let's go ahead and see what that does. Boom, solid freaking black. I just went to, let's see, concrete. Let's try that. White. And then let's see what wood looks like on wood itself. See, that's one thing I do think I recall, is that the wood didn't give as much of a unique response as the others did. Like the concrete was very responsive. Oh, you know what though? I'm going to blow your guys' mind. So the one that actually does the most is the metal. The metal is what actually has the most responsive to all of this. So notice right off the bat, that's gold, and the metal, the entire metal wall, it's wood grain. Now, make it black. Cool. So the frickin' sweetest part about this is that when you go to rust and you pick a rusty one, and you come back and you set this guy to a rusty color, it's a rusty metal wall. It's not just a different color scheme. there's now rust on the metal wall. There's also ways that you can make it a stone metal wall. Bam. And now it's bricks. So there's a lot that's hidden inside of the textures and color schemes of this game that they don't tell you with building. And you've got to play with these mechanics. You've got to do things that don't seem like they will make sense, because you need to realize, first of all, that you're on a console. So since you're on a console, there's so few buttons and commands that they've got to. There are many things they've likely had to hide inside of other features just to make them accessible at all. So, bam. Now let's see what happens, because that's stone. Let's see what happens when I make it just concrete. Blah. Perfectly flat. But if my light wasn't so blinding, you'd be able to see that it does have a concrete texture. Oh, it's so dark in here. Hold on. Wow, I'm actually using these lights for practical purposes. That's hilarious. So there's blue, I guess, around the edges of this for this color scheme, but it's just like concrete in its texture. Now, I could go ahead and I could cycle through all these again and again and again, but I do think you guys are getting the point. Now, it gets cooler than that. I'll show you with one final thing. And my favorite thing to do is actually, when you take these items, you make this, for instance, a black and gold wooden beacon. I'm going to turn my flashlight on so you guys can really see what's going on here. You guys see that? It's not solid black. This thing's black with golden accents. Like, there's a lot that, and they all change. The rusty ones look weird. Like, let's see if we can get it to turn into a rusty beacon. Oh God, I'm inside that storm because... So this is another problem with me being able to shoot inside of all of my structures. It thinks you're outside. So I'm experiencing the storm while I'm here. .com says this can actually be very frustrating when you've inadvertently changed textures. A save reload will reset both texture and color to default. You're completely right, actually. With most of my bases being black and gold that I was building, like any Martian style specific bases that I wanted to create, were in fact black and gold, because I thought that was just the most suiting for their RP style. And anytime I'd come back and I'd start building, I wouldn't notice, because the yellow and black is so close to the gold and black that I would just be like, oh, like that it's the right color, until I've built it all, and then bam, like I'm just, oh no, oh no, oh no, I've been invaded. Oh, bollocks. All right, guys, well, it looks like we got a friggin' invader on our hands. Well, I gotta go make sure I get a charger for my controller. Hey, DK, if you can let anybody that's in the chat know that I'll be back in just a few seconds if they hop in, because I'm going to grab a charger for my controller, guys. Ah, man. I feel like I do this a lot. Intermission. Ramazaki, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. 1 second, I noticed that I had someone suddenly hopped into my system, and so I'm bringing this dude into my party chat because, I mean, I absolutely gotta. Sweet. He should be oh my gosh, he's up here. He's in the middle of the staircase. How did you get inside of there, Panda? How? Oh, you could hear me running.com? That's funny. Look how .com says he will be right back, charging issues to the controller. Hear how fast he's running? Oh, man. Yeah, I was sprinting, man. Well, Panda dropped into the system, and I invited him to my party. Hey, here he is. Panda, what's up?
Not much, just enjoying your stream. I want to keep hearing it, which is why I joined your game. My phone was about to die.
Ah. Are you aware that your character is inside of a staircase? Whoa.
Whoa.
You just like ghost walked right through it. That was pretty crazy.
It's because it's still loading for me.
Oh.
I'm enjoying the stream, man. Good job.
I'm trying my best to make sure I don't leave any of the weird light tricks out because there were certain things. And thank you very much, by the way. That's actually that's really flattering from somebody that's been the frickin' streaming mogul.
Nah. Too much credit. Don't give me that much credit. No, the stream's been real good. And you know what? If you did forget something, you could always just make another video about it. But I feel like I learned a few things already. So.
Well.
Especially about this and the different rocks, like how you could mine, like this rock, for example, and then place lights underneath it, and then when it reforms, you've got like accent lights now under there. I found that to be particularly helpful.
Yeah, that's actually something that I haven't tried it yet with things like trees, but I'm really curious to see because like obviously most of my experimentation has just been inside of this cave, but I'm really curious to see if there's a way to get the trees to illuminate from below like that, and like I feel like there's just a endless amount of ways that you can hide these lights once you realize that anything can be placed on top of a light, especially environmental pieces that you can mine. .com in the chat says, Chimp, this has been an awesome stream. Thanks, man. Hosting wise and explanation wise, even better on these awesome techniques. You, sir, appear to be a natural. Wow, well, thanks a lot, .com. I have to give my credit to building to Minecraft. Honestly, I played Minecraft for a long time with a friend of mine, and then eventually I graduated from Minecraft into more complicated games with building aspects like Fallout and 7 Days to Die, and those really broke me out of my comfort zone with Minecraft being so two-dimensionally, three-dimensional, if you will, and a little bit more detail-oriented. You can rotate things, you can spin them around, you can glitch build here. Like there's a lot more you can do here than in Minecraft, but like I still feel like most of this weird experimentation also just comes from like kind of the way I play games. I don't know. I have this weird approach to video games where I try and scratch the unscratchable itch. And like, I mean, Panda and I used to play a lot of Just Cause, and like There
Oh, I
would be
love that game.
Dude, that game's great. Man, we've done some weird shit in that game. Like shit that like I don't know if Square Enix realized was gonna go down.
But weird stuff in that game. It was like turning people into wrecking balls and trying to grapple them to like wind turbines and stuff. Just such a random game.
Dude, I think the coolest thing I ever discovered you could do was shoot a propane tank and then ride it into the sky.
Yeah. Dude, I still have that game. It always bothered me that they never created like a multiplayer version for that. It seems like such a perfect game to have that sort of chaos in a multiplayer way.
Well, I keep on thinking back to the fact that it's made by Square Enix. And Square Enix seems to me like a game company that they before they even start making a game, they've already got their heart and mind set on what that game is going to be. And so it does not matter how many years go by that players do anything with it. They're never going to change they're never going to reorient based on someone else's suggestion, which I have to commend because that's dedication to their own dream and idea. Like Final Fantasy, for instance, has like only advanced but never really changed, and that is actually a rare aspect in a lot of gaming studios. After so many sequels have come out, Final Fantasy is still just Final Fantasy. You know, it works. They don't change it up. They just add better graphics and a few new game mechanics. .com says, what I think is interesting is that the lights can be deleted by removing either the host piece or the full piece. Yes, and what I find is interesting is that when you delete the host or the full piece itself, it returns the sodium to you anyways. Like, I've never noticed that I was running out of sodium whenever I was trying to play around with these light placements. Like, there are some places I never got to, like this area here. I never even bothered lighting up the floor because, I mean, there was just so much else to do that I decided, screw it. Like, there's enough. Like, I would really love for even like this here at the entrance. This is a really simple application of hiding lights. It's a lot less tedious. It's not as hard, and in my opinion, it gives even more depth to it because it's like I said, it's 3-dimensional. You know, like I see myself probably designing a base that is surrounded by this, just because, like I don't know, man. Like, this is, I could sit here and stare at this door, like, and just, it's pretty. Like, that's part of why this club took me so long, was because there's a lot of stepping back, making sure it looks right, and then kind of getting lost in it, and then coming back and fixing something. Like, it's but I'd love to see people like Ashfacta or Tomcat come and like take these lighting implementations and just toss them around the next bases they build. Because I'll tell you right now, what you do not want to do is go back to your own bases that you've already built and attempt this. Just don't. I mean, if you want to, like, obviously, by all means, you're gonna. But I'm letting you know now, it's hard to do backwards. It's probably only in any way even possible to do from the start, because of how many, like it's, you have to make sure the base is built for the lights to catch everywhere. Otherwise, you may end up only being able to light up so much of the base, because you have to put the lights down as you put the pieces down. Otherwise, you got to go and delete pieces, and you'll only be able to put the lights in places that you can do that. It's tricky.
Right.
.com says, well, you're going to see this in my future builds. Good, dude. I'm looking forward to it. I'd be really sad if I made this tutorial and I didn't manage to at least convince someone to try it. Frickin' all right. We got Panda himself up here in the stream too. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I didn't want to crash your game, but at the same time, I was watching the stream on my phone, and then my phone got the little battery indicator, and I was like, you know what, it's gonna cut off midstream. So the only way I can keep it going is like jump in with him and let my phone charge.
Hey, you know what? That works fine because Arsenal had to step out, and I lost me a co-host. So here you come to save the day. All right. I honestly do believe though that we have covered most of everything as far as these lights go. There are some things that you can do to play around, like this here. Notice I cut the lights in half on the rails, and it's, to me, like it gives it its own kind of little appeal. It puts like almost like when you're going down a runway and you have, oh wow, I missed one right there. Huh. It almost makes it feel kind of like there's like a sort of a runway feeling as you go up the stairs, and then as you come down them, they actually really kind of, like, you can't tell unless I deleted them all, but they do emit their own light onto the flat portions of this staircase. And what this actually, without all these lights, by the way, everywhere in this cave, this would be a very, very dark base. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step out of this cave, and I'm going to go and find another cave without lights in it, so that way I can shed some light, no pun intended, on how big of a difference this makes to a base. So where I'm going to go is back to where my base computer is, that first cave that I managed to trick Panda into exploring. That felt, by the way, that did feel like a small sense of victory when I saw you go into that cave and assume there was something in there, and then all you found was that exocraft station. That exocraft station is there just to kind of imply, like, you gotta travel. And also kind of, bam. So look at this cave. It's just orange and black. It's just orange and black. .com, you're right. And he says, lol, Panda's charge problem caused a Chimpa charge issue. It's true that, because as soon as your phone started to die, my controller started to die. I had to run and grab a charger. .com says, I think that the grand stairway makes an awesome impression on both and in and exiting for different reasons. This is truly art. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, with all of the like, so if you're looking at my stream now, you can see that this cave is really dark, and it's orange. It's kind of almost bland, because I'm on a desert planet, and these desert planets really don't have very much color to offer. But I'm gonna go back over here. It's 250 units northeast, or northwest, sorry, of the base computer is where the entrance is. And so those who watch this stream and take note of that, that'll help you a lot with finding this hidden base. But I'm gonna walk back in, and now you can kind of see that there's still an orange hue throughout the base, or throughout the cave, but it's really kind of truncated by the presence of the light that I've put around. And you almost kind of don't get that orange hue feeling from the cave at all. And that is another thing that I want. .com says you made monochrome into Technicolor. Thanks. I was actually, like, holographic was pretty much what I was going for. Was I wanted to have that kind of monochrome, like, blend of stuff. Because we don't get to build bases with moving parts or change yet. You know, that's probably about to change with Beyond. But I figured if there was anything I could do to spice it up, it was color. But yeah, what I really wanted to show people was that, like, you don't have to stick to the color scheme of the planet you're on. The sun will eventually go down, and if you use lighting techniques like this, you can make a base have its own kind of atmosphere, if you will, like its own kind of ambiance. And, like, that to me is big, because I totally do get tired, no matter what planet I'm on. I totally get tired of its color palette eventually. And like being able to do this at least allows me to feel like I'm not stuck. Like sometimes I forget that I'm on a desert planet when I'm down here. Wow, Panda. Thanks. That's one hell of a compliment.
Yeah, bro. I meant it.
Like,
Good
like,
flow.
let's see. We've got this area here was going to be. Oh, hey, there's not a wall there right now for you, I guess.
Nope.
Yeah, like, so I think that without beating a dead horse, I've covered most of what I've done here. If like you said, if there's something else that I discover later, I'll probably make another tutorial video of it. But I finally made a tutorial video for this lighting, and hopefully people manage to stick around through the end of the stream if they come back to watch it later, and they manage to catch all the tips that it has to offer. Because, again, like, I would love to see these building maniacs of the FDI take this color technique and implement it, because I cannot even imagine what kind of stuff that we'd get to see if that's what they were using in any other bases. Like I'm sure that in fact, if Ash Facta were to find a way to use this technique in Blender builds, wow, like who even, like I don't know if it would work that way. Like I don't know how that
Some of the
works.
stuff I've seen him do in Blender, it's like there's no way to replicate it. He's creating it in a separate system and then importing it into the game's files, basically. I think is how that works.
.com, you have a question, and I think it's a good one. I still need to know, are the lights shining on the side of the quarter walls from the lights embedded to the floor or the panels below? Are you talking about for this main entrance here? .com? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'll wait till you can respond. But are you speaking about this? Because this area here, this light is just coming from these. Oh, but you did raise a valid point.com, because there is one thing I was about to walk away from. One of the most colorful aspects of this base is kind of hard to notice, but it's this here. When you use these quarter walls, I actually have lights on top of these quarter walls, and then I put the quarter wall on top of that, and then I put the lights on top of that quarter wall and the quarter wall on top of that, and I kept going. But I alternated, and I would do green and blue and then pink and green and then blue and pink, and like it ended up making this whole entire thing look like kind of wild. And if you come down from below, you can really see the color transition as you go throughout it. The quarter walls and the dance floor. Okay, all right. So, oh shoot, that's right. I have to use the proper entrance. Here we go. So this is it. So you're asking about that. You are raising a valid point, because I did put lights in between the floor panels and in between the quarter walls. And what that did is that gave the neon striping that these floor panels have are from the lights in between them. But the hue that kind of throws across them is coming from inside of the quarter walls. And so what I did was I placed the lights in between the floor panels, and then after the floor panels were built, I put down a single quarter wall, and then I would put the light on the side of the quarter wall, and then I would put another one. And then I would continue to do that and alternate colors and whatnot. Do it on the other side as well, and that is kind of what gives you this like almost random appearing like amount of light. Right? Yeah, .com says I see this stuff and nod my head and say, "All right, console, I could do this." Yes, that's the other thing I wanted to also kind of give hope to is like, dude, we can do weird stuff with consoles. Like Blender build is not the only way. Like we just got to get a little more creative, like, and probably put in a little more time. But but it's worth it. Oh, there's an entire upper layer here, by the way, that nobody ever finds, but it's up in here.
Not to undermine like the great work PC builders are using or doing, because they are doing really creative and really amazing bases. But anybody that is getting even close to that on console should really give themselves a like Agent Tomcat was able to do with the Millennium is mind-boggling.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Like, you know what? It is believable that someone set out with that kind of a goal. It is believable that someone managed to make something look like the Millennium Falcon elsewhere. I do not find it easy to believe that Tomcat was able to create the floor plan of the Millennium Falcon, and not only that, but he even got the Jarek table that Obi-Wan and Chewie were playing at.
Bro, he
And
got the Jarek table. He got the with the plate. He got the droid that flies around, the training droid. He recreated the cockpit. He had an engine room.
wow. I see. I remember
Bro,
the cockpit, but like I didn't like realize he had an engine room, in which like it made me so nostalgic though when like I saw the stream of someone walk. I think it was you that streamed walking around in it, and like I was honestly like I felt like I was having flashbacks to KOTOR, and
bro,
like
it's gonna be one of the first places I go in VR. Is that base?
oh yes. I got
Imagine your cave base in VR.
I got Connor in the chat asking what my most expensive item is. To be honest, I don't even know. I don't really install things unless they're S class. Every now and then a B class or something else makes it in there. But I don't purchase things really ever, and so I don't know what the value of most of my stuff is. In fact, I
And by the way, just sorry to interrupt, but anybody that's like watching right now, make sure that you like and subscribe. This guy only recently started playing No Man's Sky. Chimp Sidious is fairly new to No Man's Sky, already like basically a master level builder, and this is really good information, and I expect more coming from this. So, guys, make sure you support the channel.
thanks, Panda, and I agree wholeheartedly with the part that that there should be more coming. I hope that especially once this Beyond update drops and they give me a couple more building mechanics, maybe even brush up the present ones, that I will get to find even more weird crap that nobody knew existed, and then just exploit it until it becomes a rainbow of creation like this, because this was literally like supposed to like you really want to know what this nightclub was going to be? This was going to be an underground science lab. This was just going to be a like when I first started playing No Man's Sky, I wanted to role play as a Martian and be like, "Oh, you know what? I can pretend to be a Martian lost in space and we're invading planets." And I was going to build hidden underground labs, probes, and I was going to hide them from everybody and just think that it was funny. And then one night, I'm like in here just messing around and not really feeling like I'm getting what I want out of it. And I don't know what spurred the idea of making it a nightclub, but Panda and I were talking about lighting, and he makes the very light suggestion, what if you put lights behind things and it just cast light around them instead of visible lights? And he like suggested this piece here, and he talked about this, like how you can see through this triangular concrete piece. And then he's like, what if you put lights on the back of it, and you could just see the lights that was shining from behind it through it. And I went ahead and I built a staircase with that lighting technique to see how it came out. And I'm not even talking about this staircase. I just built one staircase, and I realized I really liked the way it went, and so I kept building the staircase, and it became this big giant staircase. And now I have the Rave Grave. It was supposed to just be a troll that was going to be a hidden science lab, but then like people like built things like the Quaid Research Station, where I was like, man, like I can't compete with these. These are really awesome research stations. I probably should find my own thing to do before I get spanked. And so this is what I do now. So the Martians stopped researching science and just started researching parties.
But you know what's interesting is that like within a week of you picking up the game, I had asked you to come help with the Delta Vista city build. And then you found out that, like, which helped me on my UAS build, by the way, you found out that instead of using glass windows, you can cut down on complexity by just using those hollow doors. But if you place the hollow doors inside the structure, the aura doesn't shine outward so that it looks like a normal window. And that actually helped to, like, build my UAS base because I built, like, a resort that looks like hotel windows.
Yeah.
But hollow doors that are shining inward. It's just so crazy that like I've been playing the game for 3 years, right? And then you were playing the game for like 2 weeks, and were already teaching me things. So I have no doubt that you're going to crush it. But by the way, you should come find me on the map because I'm going to show you the stairs.
Oh, okay, cool, no problem. Let me see.
I need you to see how hard it was for me to put together these stairs.
Oh yeah, I'm really curious about these stairs. So, anybody that's been watching the stream specifically for the lighting tutorial, I think that oh wait, hold on, I'm missing some of this chat before I get carried away. .com still, as a glitch builder, I could tell you the Ashes stuff and shake my head and say I wish. Oh wait, sorry, that's old. Totally agree, Panda. Like and subscribe, guys, if you want more. Oh, well, thank you, .com. I appreciate you saying so. I think that, oh, and that makes sense. I'll bet you can get some really cool colors from blending the blended colors from the floor with the quarter panels as well. Yeah, that's actually the biggest thing that if there's something that anyone can take away from this entire tutorial, the lights being hidden is cool. But the most useful thing that I took advantage of in that base specifically was that the lights will blend together. And I've always noticed that people get really dedicated to certain lights, and they just don't really try and shake it up a lot. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm sure that it's probably only due to the fact that most of us don't know what this game has to offer until somebody figures it out. And until then, it's like we're in this like little helmet of comfort zone, and we just don't like we just don't want to assume that it'll work, and we don't try it. Like, it's kind of like how me and Arsenal discovered how to put multi-tools inside of buildings. Like, nobody knew that there was a way to do that, and so who was going to try and figure it out? And that's what I love about this game the most, is that whatever you want to do, there's most likely actually a way to do it. It might not be exactly as you'd like it to go, but you could probably get relatively close, and it's just going to take an ample amount of experimentation and probably an awkward period of feeling like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like you know, we in the GCB, we still never really perfected yet a way to keep score. And Arsenal was explaining to me that they're implementing a logic system. And he told me that, he told me you pointed out that we might be able to make scoreboards. And it's stuff it's stuff like that.
Yeah, they're going to be in the new base building mechanics. This isn't speculation. This is actually official. It was in an interview with Sean Murray, in fact. But he said that they're going to be like logic computers into the base builds that you can program to do certain. And then they built a Rocket League. Sean Murray said that a couple of games when they were figuring it all out, they built a Rocket League game inside of No Man's Sky. So I would imagine that there's a way to keep score. So you can do events, tournaments, death matches, things like that, and be able to keep score.
Yes, and like that is a huge deal that they're implementing a system like that. And something I've got to stress on is that once they implement that kind of a system, like, do not shy from experimenting with features of this game that seem like they won't go anywhere. Like, look at it this way. I only found out that lights would go inside of stalactites by literally just walking up to stuff with the light blueprint and trying to put it inside of things, which was a lot of disappointment in many places. But every now and then, bam, I had an item or a piece of the terrain that I could put the light inside of, and it was tedious to discover each one, but it was still really rewarding when I found out that certain things it would fit inside of. For instance, the half arches I could put them inside of, but those are not those. There's one other item that you can put them inside of, and it's a part of concrete stairs. It's towards the bottom of the center beam that supports concrete stairs. You can put lights inside of it, and like in order to find all the rest, one would have to one must land their ship if they would like to explore. Haha. One would really just like I discovered that one by accident. Like, I was just walking around with a light fixture, and then I noticed when I came back to, like, I stepped away from my controller. When I came back, it was projecting in front of me with blueprints, but I couldn't see the light. And then when I turned my screen like about that much, suddenly the light was still there, and I realized that it was actually just hidden inside of the staircase itself. And I was like, wow, it blew my mind at the time. I was like, that's actually amazing.
We're going to go look at these stairs real quick.
Let's do it.
Now, what I did want to let you know, because I think you'll be happy, is that the stream is currently at 5 likes, so that's awesome, guys. Thank you for liking the stream. And, bro, this is going to get you excited. When I got in your chat earlier, you were at 14 subscribers. Now you're at 16. Gotten 2 more subscribers.
Hey, awesome. I am so glad that you guys hopped in to check out this tutorial. I honestly, I know that I had promised to make it several times in the past, and I just never got around to it. I'm sorry. But I'm also kind of glad that inadvertently I'm getting this tutorial out right before the update drops, because I know that everybody's about to return to go building crazy. And I just really hope they get themselves a taste of this tutorial before they start that, because I really just wanted to make this tutorial for the FDI. Other people are going to see this and they're going to be able to use it, but I feel like this is some awesome building techniques that could be put into like some super artistic builds that already happen in the FDI. And I mean, man, like what more can we do to set ourselves apart? Hell, like, let's find out. I don't know where you went, Panda. I lost you. I was reading.
I went
chat.
off the mountain.
All right. I found you. Dun, 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 dun. I'm taking a dive, man. I'm going down.
It's so funny because a second ago we were full player models, but my game crashed, and then when I booted back in, we're like you're an orb to me and I'm an orb to you.
I'm being third person from now on.
The thing is, bro, is that in a couple of there won't be such a thing as orbs. It'll be 16 player lobbies.
That is so cool too. Like the orbs help right now, but like I have a feeling that like the fact that they're about to have 16 players in a lobby, it speaks for itself. There is no question that base capacity is going to go up big time. That what's up, Dave? How you doing? uh, it speaks for the fact that like base capacity is going to go up, rendering capacity is going to go up. They wouldn't be able to support 16 people on the game if they weren't pumping those features up big time. So all the concerns that we had with Delta Vista, they're definitely probably going to be gone, and we're going to be able to go back there and complete the
Oh,
massive construction.
yep. I've already posted Delta Vista as a go as of Tuesday,
Oh
Wednesday.
snap, dude! I'm
Delta
so.
Vista is a go because we'll finally be able to slap. So,
Oh yeah, and that's like, and that was
hey,
actually.
look at your left hand side. Look at the planet. Look
Whoa.
at Nope. So it's dipping on the horizon.
Oh snap! Hold up, I'm getting beat to death. Yo, bro, you trying to get this? Yeah, you ain't. Bye. You have been poached, punk. Sorry, wildlife was getting out of line, so I had to extend the pimp hand. Um,
I
that is
love the
actually,
view of Nope from this planet.
yeah, I was gonna say that's actually really cool. That's one of my favorite things about this game is that you can just be kind of strolling along and then look up at the horizon and like ringed planets and like sometimes in some systems you'll get like three or four of them on the horizon at once and like
Look at the down freighter over there. So this base is actually called Down, and
wow.
Hidden Jew was building this base, and he ran out of inspiration on the middle part, and so I came to help him, and I put it together, and he'll tell you that one of the hardest things to do was this staircase, and it doesn't look hard when you look at it, but to get the pieces to snap together, because they really shouldn't snap together the way they did, was immensely difficult. Is it loading in for you?
Oh, we're at the base. Yeah, no, it's not popping in if we're here. Hmm.
Are you not
Strange.
seeing a base computer at all?
It's got the reticle for the base computer, but I don't see the base computer itself. I
Do
wonder
you see a
if
bridge?
no, it's literally just the reticle. Like I'm standing where the base computer should be, but it's not here. I wonder if I
It just has to load in, probably.
drop a beacon, autosave, see if that helps. Hmm.
Does it look like my orb's just out in the middle of the lake right now?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's what I was like. I thought you were crossing the lake, and I was gonna spawn my hovercraft, but I guess I haven't used my hovercraft on this planet yet because I can't.
That's so weird that nothing is loading in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder if let's see. I just did a restore point save. I'm gonna spawn my ship, hop in and out of it, and then see if maybe dropping out of the game will bring it in. Because I wouldn't be surprised if the weird amount of. I mean, I guess there's not really anything that should have caused this.
So I'm in the number one slot in the lobby. Save the game, drop out, and then just join my game.
Bet. All right. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I wonder if I drop out and drop back in. Let's see. All right. I'm dropping out. I'll join yours. And hey, if you have just come into the stream, I just want to let you know there has been a large tutorial that has taken place for the Rave Grave. And so when this stream is over, there is going to be quite a bit available to you on how to hide lights, how to use lighting to blend and illuminate dark places in more than just placing them there so you can see. Accents, atmosphere, ambiance, monochromatic effects, things that are more designed around texture. There's also a bit that I do a tutorial on. Oh, the network timed out. There's a bit that I do on how to use and manipulate the texture and their color. You can place concrete items with wooden color schemes and textures. You can.
Are you still streaming?
Yes, I am. I've got 4 people in the chat right now. Which, hello everybody. Feel free to feel free to speak up. Say anything you'd like if you got questions or if you even just want to talk shit. I don't really care. Like,
So.com says, great stuff, champ, and I will be suggesting this to K-Dog, JC Hysteria, Telepathic, and Void. Big legends right there.
all right.
Let's see.
Awesome.
Okay, it's still live for me. I didn't know if you having the connection issues caused the stream to drop out.
Not yet. Not yet, luckily. And actually, DK, I am so hyped for like these pro builders of all kinds to be told about this facet with the lighting. Like I already like I can build some interesting things, and like I do have kind of an artistic approach, but I don't have the complete ideas that these guys just come into their realm with. They have a concept in mind, and it's like they have already painted the picture in their head, and they play the game, and it just comes to life. I like, like Tomcat's Millennium Falcon is one thing, but like even stuff as simple as, I should not say simple at all. Things as more straightforward, or like some of Slade's like really big crazy statues that he does. Like these people had like an intent, they had a goal, and they're really good at completing that goal. And not only that, but some of these ideas are so original that, like, I mean, all that I really build are unique shaped things, and then I decide what they are when I'm done. Like these guys know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. So I think that it would be amazing to see these guys who have a much more thought out approach on building, if they had this lighting implementation under their belt. Like I can't, dude, I can't compare to what I know they'd be able to do. Like I'm trying to picture right now, like Tomcat's Millennium Falcon with that weird blue, pink, and green color scheme that I gave the Rave Grave. Like, like, like first of all, looks like the best time Han Solo ever could have had in my mind right now. So, all
Also,
right,
too, like when you see these stairs,
I'm
like
here now.
you'll see that like I wish I would have known about your lighting technique, like when I made this stair set,
Holy
because
crap!
I have plain lights on it. Do you see it?
Yeah, this is awesome. Wow,
To have hidden these.
dude, these are cool. Well, no, I like the way that you did this. Like, honestly, this to me is like, that was it. I was talking to Arsenal earlier about the way that you've designed some of your bases and how symmetrical you managed to keep it all. It's really
Look
hard.
at the look at the substructure underneath. Like getting the pieces to snap together was actually a lot more difficult than you would think that it would have been.
Actually, I don't doubt you at all. Looking at this and imagining trying to build it makes me want to rip out my afro right now. Like, oh my god. Because I know for a fact these half arches and these arches, those were a pain in the ass. I could tell that was not
Well,
simple.
specifically getting these wedges right here to snap. So if you look at it from this side, it looks really weird. Getting all of those pieces to conjoin right there, so
How
that it
did you
can
do
create
that?
almost like I did it so that it can create like guardrails. Like there's not a base part that does guardrails, so I made guardrails. And the floor piece had to start and stop at a specific place. So like if like I had to the wedge piece, I had to put the floor piece down after I got the wedge piece down. Otherwise they wouldn't snap together. Because if you look at it, the wedge piece goes right just across the middle of the one floor tile.
Oh, you know what?
which it
Yeah. Wow, I
which
didn't even notice.
it shouldn't snap that way. So it was like the it was like the hardest thing out of this whole base for to put together was this. But I've got this little lounge up here with it as well. But yeah,
That's actually I've done that a couple of times by accident where like a piece would go straight through a whole floor piece like that in the middle, and it has gotten me in such pickles like 20 or 30 minutes later where like I'll see that I do that by accident and I'm like, you know what, like that's fine, like it works, and then later I try and snap pieces around it or to it and so many pieces will reject it just because the piece is inside of the middle of a large floor piece, and I guess the game just doesn't understand or doesn't want pieces to be put in certain places, and so that one piece might be there already, but I can't connect everything to it, only a couple of things, and like yeah, dude, like I mean I don't know how you got it, how you managed to do it twice, like right directly next to each other, because I'm pretty sure the only time I ever managed to do it on purpose, I like regretted it so much. Because I
and
couldn't build
the
off of
the
it.
the thing was is I couldn't build one side of the stairs and then go build the other side because it was difficult getting certain pieces to snap together that one snap. I would run across the other side and duplicate what I just did and then go back and keep going because if I went too far and then I don't remember the exact process by which I got the pieces to connect, then I was afraid that I wouldn't get it to work at all.
Man, I like this staircase. Like this
But,
is
looking at it objectively, it doesn't look as complex as things that other people have put together. But builders, real builders in No Man's Sky that know how these pieces snap together, know how to glitch build. I didn't really do much glitching with this, but they would know the difficulty that would have been required to do that.
mm,
And also, like regarding your lighting technique, Hidden actually did a very basic level of it inside here.
ooh,
So he put this together
oh shit. This is
where
cool.
he used the lights to hit the those like mirror things to accent the color of the little mirror things, the electric cubes.
Those are not typical anomalies, are they? I've never seen these. I've been to the planets these come from, but I never found them.
Yeah, yeah. You can pick up the electric cubes
What? That's
and then
cool.
look at the aquarium that's up here. So there's weird lights that have been placed somewhere above the aquarium, I think. I can't remember exactly, but
Man.
at at night you would more easily see how that thing up there glows.
This is well. See, and like honestly, the one thing about this staircase that blows me away is that you managed to get these. I don't know what to call them. These triangular shaped pieces. These uh, what you used as handrails. You managed to stack them on top of each other, which I know for a fact they are not supposed to do. Like that is like the part that I'm trying to wrap my head around right now. Is I'm trying to figure out like, did you place a wall behind them up and then do it in front? Like I don't, because even still, like there are some places where like the technique that you use to build the other kind of handrails, like that are in my rave grave, like that technique works, but it's almost like a glitch of some kind. Like this looks more like you just broke the fucking game.
So to be honest, I want to say because it's been a while since I've been here, but I want to say that for some of it, what I had to do was put a floor piece down, then snap it to the floor piece, and then delete the floor piece.
That barely even damaged you, didn't it?
It did nothing.
That's so depressing. Man, I really hope when Beyond comes out, like Arsenal was talking about how you wanted a melee because that guy had a knife on his leg in the trailer, and I was like, dude, you know what? If they give us a melee that can kill someone in like 2 hits and the grenade still doesn't damage anyone, I'm gonna be so mad. like, like, I don't know why we have grenades. Oh, great, that's why, because I can kill myself immediately.
Yeah, you can one shot yourself.
Yeah, like the terrain manipulation grenade even. Like what is that for? Like like that's like some Ratchet and Clank shit. like like I mean it's cool and I've played with it. I mean, in fact, I've actually considered for the GCB that it would be really cool to have uh like a game mode that was based around terrain manipulation, and it was more like kind of like capture the flag, but your goal is not to kill each other. It's to like get to the other side of the map and acquire a certain item. But it's two teams that face each other, and instead of their goal being to kill each other, their goal is actually just to stop each other. And so you use the terrain manipulators or the geo cannon, and you build like tight indoor corridors that are like a labyrinth, and you can block off certain pathways to slow them down, or you can just sit there and like launch your geocannon to keep them trapped. But like you either have to stop trying to keep them trapped and go and capture their item, or just race to their item before they race you to yours. But the terrain manipulation would be the only real line of defense, because I think that, like, I mean, if we can come up with ways to race, if we can come up with ways to do PvP, like, we can definitely find a way to use terrain manipulation in a competitive way. Like, there's gotta be.
Yeah. So whenever, if you follow me over here, whenever me and Hidden were designing this base, we wanted it to have two entrances. So we created the terminus entrance. So from the back side of the building, when you're coming through, it looks like it could also be the front side.
Uh huh.
But the landing pads along the back are also an entrance. So if you're flying to the base, you have an entrance. There's an entrance across the causeway coming from the side, and then there's a waterbound entrance here, which is incomplete, but like you'd be able to drive a Nautilon up towards it. So
Oh,
this base technically has four entrances.
is this what you're talking about? This is
Yeah.
the little pier over here that I'm standing on?
Yep. See, your lighting techniques would have came in handy right there by those trees.
Well, and you see, that's see, this is where, like I said before, like you probably wouldn't be able to do it on bases that pre-exist. You could in places like this, like spots like these trees and stuff. It's if you wanted to do this floor, like you could do it, and it technically wouldn't be much harder than if you were doing it while you built the floor. You're just gonna have to like delete and then replace the floor panels, and so that sounds tedious, but it truly isn't. Like it's more about like how much you care to detail your base, like you know, and if you really wanted to add those details, you're gonna enjoy doing it because you're gonna start to like pick your color schemes, and once you decide on a color scheme and how it blends together in a hue, you're gonna
Well,
fall in love with the way it looks, and you're gonna want to do it.
this base is probably going to get lost to history because so Hidden he built this base, or he at least started the base computer, and then I've come and helped him with portions of the base, but he lost this save.
No
So
way.
whenever something had happened with his PlayStation 4 and he had to get a new one, and whenever he got a new one, his save file was somehow corrupted, so he lost a save file that had over 1,000 hours of work in it, and yeah, and then he had to start completely over. So this base is just kind of frozen in time. He's been playing on a new save, and after the update, this may disappear.
Wow, you said 1,000 hours in work, and like my heart broke. Like my ex broke up with me. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow. Like that's dude, that's almost as harsh as the story Arsenal told me about what he did to get ready for next. Did he ever tell you about that?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so tragic. So Next was about to come out, and he said that there was talk around about how like you'd have to do like there was going to be some form of a reset, and like I can't remember what it was that drove him to do it, but he told himself he wanted to to start fresh, and he thought that he was going to have to delete his save, and so he did delete his save. Or no, I think he said that like the update at first beforehand there was talk about how like something was going to go on. I can't remember what he explained, but he basically his primary save he deleted it for Next, and then found out that he didn't have to after Next came out. And I was like, man, that is the harshest sacrifice I think like I've heard anybody have made in No Man's Sky history. Like, like, and he still plays. Like, I gotta commend
Well,
him, man.
well, also there was a lot of people who their files were corrupted with Next, like Slade Braddock, like his save file did not get situated for several months. He had glitches and crashes and all kinds of stuff like that, which is why if you've been following the way that this update has progressed um, with Beyond, like a month and a half ago, Hello Games asked the community, as many people as would be willing to do it, to submit a copy of their save file so that Hello Games could test Beyond features on the existing save files to make sure that they could try to mitigate or reduce the any potential issues. So
That's really considerate of them because, like, one thing that I've got to say for Hello Games that has honestly, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, like, this studio is so small. And you explained to me how when they were making the game that they had a studio that flooded. And with the size of their studio and the fact that one of them flooded and they lost so much progress in the development of this game before it even released, they still managed to throw the game out there when it came out. They had the release that they had. They've turned it around since. But what really stands out, like their determination to keep with the game is commendable. But what I think actually gives them the credit is the fact that everything they've done to update the game has almost like inconsequently and irrefutably reflected what the players are asking for. They see people trying to go in a direction where they want bases, they added base building. They see people going in a direction of multiplayer interfaces, and they just like more than tripled the amount of people that can fit on a server. And like there's just no game that I've ever seen in history that would add such massive updates based on the player's desire rather
they
than
quadrupled it.
yeah, they quadrupled it, and they don't even have a sorry, I suck at math, guys. They don't even have a like other games when they make an update, they're keeping up with the Joneses, like when they drop a DLC or an update for most games, they're just trying to compete and compare with other multiplayer spaces. No Man's Sky is not even batting an eye at what other MMOs and multiplayer games do. They're just looking at the way their players use their game, and they're designing it based around that. And I think that's revolutionary because game developers like Blizzard and Square Enix have never cared so much about their players' desire. And like they really are like if they don't think that that matters, and I don't care if someone disagrees with me on this, if they don't think that that matters, they're going to probably not last. Like, and I'm serious. Companies as big as Blizzard and as big as Square Enix are going to be met by studios a fraction of their size that are looking at their players and saying, what do you want us to do? And those players, when they look at Square Enix and Blizzard and Square Enix only show up with this is what we've done for you, they're not going to continue over the next 6 to 7 years. They're not going to continue like dedicating unless they're absolute diehards for a certain line of games. They're not going to continue dealing with the settling, if you will, for what games are being given to them.
They're going to end up with like, games like No Man's Sky, and there's going to be something else. If any of these development studios know what's good for them, they're going to end up with something more comparable to the way this game is being designed, and it's going, in my opinion, it's going to inevitably change the industry. Like, as long as this game continues to come back from hell, if you will, like, I don't see why people want to play like other explorative builder type MMO games if they just like Fallout, for instance. Fallout never updated based on what people wanted. They hit their base capacity limit and they just said, well, that's going to stay that way. We're probably going to just close the book on Fallout for a while, and you guys are just going to have to love what you've got. And honestly, I don't play Fallout anymore because of that. And I know I'm not the only gamer out there that treats it that way. And with the bandwagon aspect of how most gaming works, you don't really have a choice. You kind of have to go with the crowd, because otherwise you end up playing these games alone. And what No Man's Sky keeps getting is more and more players. Yeah.
Yeah, and this update is probably going to add, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of more players, just from the VR community.
Oh my gosh, dude. I can't. Honestly, in .com, you're right, actually. They definitely have changed the status quo. And sorry, I was reading the comments. Panda, can you repeat that?
They're going to be adding hundreds of thousands of more players, probably just from the VR alone.
Oh, actually, yes. No, there was a thought that I had while I was designing the Rave Grave about VR, and one thing that came to my mind was how they have VR social spaces now, like VR chat rooms. And I was walking around in the Rave Grave, and I realized, if they keep designing builders like in VR, then those VR chat rooms are probably going to change with this, and they're going to become more of a customizable aspect to VR chat rooms, where instead of just showing up to one that's already pre-existing, you'll have opportunities to create your own VR chat spaces that other people can kind of be in shock and awe of, and they can enjoy hanging out in. And when I was designing the Rave Grave, I realized, a few years down the road, we'll have games where we can make something like the Rave Grave, and it will be like a virtual nightclub that people will use. And I was thinking about, with the way that the world is starting to go into, kind of a more internet-geared interaction as far as socializing goes, especially with how much more normal video gaming has become. It used to just be like a nerdy thing to do, but now it's a fad as well. So you take those virtual social spaces and you make them something I can build and something that I can market, and then you give it to somebody that's a streamer that monetizes their channel, and then now you have someone that can literally make their own actual virtual nightclub and monetize it. You're talking about virtual business. It's a real possibility in years to come, and it was kind of blowing my mind, thinking about it while I was building it. People who might not be excellent gamers, but are artists or are public personalities and streamers and such, would be able to design these spaces, and they might not be the focal point of the space itself, because the space they've built is, but there could actually be places that you have to pay a certain amount, almost like a cover charge, just to be able to use that social space.
What I want to see in No Man, I want to see player-based trading. I want to see. I don't personally think it's possible for a studio as small as Hello Games to hand make a lot of and mechanics in the game. I think it would be much smarter for them to give us the tool to allow the community to do it, which we've already proven we're really good at, because we created hubs when there wasn't even multiplayer in the game, and we created PvP when it's not even set up that way, and all these other things, you know. I feel like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
I
like
I I, I would like to see more player driven.
interaction. Well, that's something that I was talking to Arsenal about, and I on your pirate radio stream, I had brought it up briefly. Was that in the trailer they don't really expose why all those players are there at the opening of that cave, because it's not just like, I think that that trailer was a PC server, because there's more than 16 people on screen, and you know that because he passes about 8 players or more that are on foot, and he walks past about 6 to 8 ships that are landing or taking off, and then he like sees like 3 or 4 of them that are on mounts, and like it's just a lot. Like it might have even been 32 people. But my question when I saw that trailer, my first and maybe perhaps only real question is, what are they doing in that cave? And more importantly, why did they want to do it together? Did they design this just for the trailer, or is there going to be a reward or economy system in place that we will benefit from being on the server together, doing something together? Like, for instance, when you craft things in a refiner, you get a shortened time with more players on the server. So, does that mean that if I have enough players around that I can gain more resources if we're all at the same mining facility? Because that would change things. Like, and
Right.
that's, I'm wondering, like, is there going to actually be a reward system in place for filling all of those server slots, or are they just putting them there to be used? Because that was my question. Like, uh, I think it was Sword that was talking about how rewarding all of this stuff can be, and like as soon as he had said, he had used that phrasing, that's when I'd realized, like, that's what my question was. What is the reward that 32 players are going to get from being on the server together? Is it the reward being there itself? Because that's perfectly satisfying. It is. But it would be, in my opinion, it would be more advantageous for the game if, for instance, Quicksilver, you could get, like, if you filled up an entire server, you got 16 people on a server at once, and then every person got like 10 units of Quicksilver immediately as soon as you filled up every single position on the server, that would do it. It might not do it forever, but it would do it for a little while. It would definitely get people interested in filling up every single spot on the server, and just to get that 10 Quicksilver, just to get the achievement, just to do that. But that kind of a reward system in place, that's what I'm curious about. Is like, is there any kind of a XP bonus, if you will, for lack of better terms, for playing with such a large group of players? Because that is, like that's the one thing that we've always been able to have 4 people on a server at once, but we've never done it. Well, I mean, like, people do it. We do it a lot, actually, but it's not our main focus. But those guys were at like a straight up mining exhibition of some kind, and so it
Well,
looked.
so obviously the trailer is on PC because the PC obviously has the best graphics, and so they're able to showcase the game in the best light that way.
Mm-hmm.
But also as well, the PC version of No Man's Sky Beyond can have 32 players in a multiplayer lobby as opposed to 16. And the 16 player limitation on console might likely grow, because I believe that there's been other games on consoles that have had more than 16 concurrent players. But I think for stability reasons with base building and all of that other kind of stuff, they're probably kind of laying low on that at the beginning. But I did notice in that trailer as well that there was actual pipelines. So I think that players like for the FDI, for example, like in the hub, players can get together and build like an advanced sort of colony, but the resources can be piped into that colony and collected by all players that reside there. So like rather than like you have to go out and find a particular resource, you may be able to have that resource plumbed in because it looked like there were pipelines and all that other kind of stuff. And I really do see like more of a player-based and player-driven economy and trade system. And if that's the case, then that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Kind of my whole spiel on that.
Well, and that's actually, you raise a good point, which, one second, because .com just said something really interesting. He says, HG has shown just how effectively you can come back from stepping on your dick. Nobody can argue that. Most importantly, we can see just how incredible a small studio can perform in recovering. From such a disaster, from launch issues, dedication, hard work, and more importantly, an ear to the consumers of your product is evident enough to we gamers that we have become the, and I guess he's still typing his next comment, but yeah, no, you mentioned those pipelines, and that right there, like I imagine if there is like some kind of as I'm putting it, a reward system in place, like what if, for instance, you have a farm and I have a mine and they're next to each other. Now, I want to be able to access the assets of my mine and your farm, but you're not around or something. Like, I'm not, we can already access each other's mines and farms, and so it's like, it's a question of like, what are they mobilizing? And that's where, like, I feel like one can assume that there's obviously going to be a new aspect of inventory or product mobility isn't available now. We don't realize it, but it's about to be created with those pipelines, perhaps. And that is like, I feel like maybe like that's it. Like pipelines, for instance, like perhaps you won't be able to just do those between your own facilities. That's going to be something that you do to attach your facilities to someone else's to some kind of a benefit, which is where you and I now have a reason to build our bases next to each other, because we don't want a pipeline that goes across the whole planet, which is what I really would like to see, because like what that would tell me is that now they want bases on top of each other. They also want us to be inclined to share a playable space and a terrain feature, like, and that's what I'm looking for, is that like, it's like, what is it they're going to do to make it to where we no longer want to build on and
Well, go back to that trailer, and if you pay very close attention, when the person's running out of the cave, they've got like a settlement that's obviously built in the cave. When they run across the field and get in their ship, they didn't go very far across in that field. I mean, it wasn't even 100 yards probably. And they get in their ship and they fly up, and on the lower part of the hill was another settlement. Like like how many units away do you have to be from another base before you can start building one without interfering? Under you, right?
yeah, I mean you're
Or
right.
it's like a 7 minute walk or something crazy like that. That you have to go away from the previous base to build your base, where your bases don't impact each other. Well, in that clip, the base, there was a few bases and they seemed to be in near proximity of each other. So I think that it's true. I think you called it like perfectly, and I'm sure that it'll prove itself this way, because they they increased the player lobbies, they increased how the base complexity and base limitations, and all of that to me points to, we want more of you on the screen building together near each other in more advanced buildings. I think that it's, again, it goes back to a player-based economy, player-based trading, possibly making it easier for us to have our own in-game hubs feel more like hubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you big way. You're right, actually, to feel more like hubs because that's like this system that we're in right now, Pidstain, is a testament that is hard. That you are going to be hard pressed to find this kind of a system unless you go to like the Galactic Hub or somewhere else. Like, and even then, like I don't know if they don't have one, but I wouldn't be shocked if there are more bases here in Pidstain than there are in most of the systems elsewhere, unless it is in the Galactic Hub, because like I cannot look in a direction in this system like unless I look straight up to the sky without having a base reticle on my screen. And like, but the sad part is they're all so forcibly far apart, and I can only imagine what kind of mayhem this system would have been if it had been started after Beyond's things had already been accessible. And honestly, like if they vamp it up to where Pidstain is not so heavy on consoles, I mean, there are a lot of bases here on Anya that I think are just of an artistic nature. Do we have farms or mining facilities here in Pidstain? Very many of them?
Sword and John Hall both have farms on Pidstate.
That's awesome. See,
Like
and
like very very high yield resource farms.
wow, see, and like that right there. Now, I would expect that whatever Beyond is going to do, that if that Pidstain being less taxing on the console, that we could come back and we can find these high yield farms, and we can build our own forms of resource acquirement around them, and somehow either the fact that they're just close to each other or even more so, like I mean, their near proximity will be a big benefit, but I feel like that's going to be really interesting to see people like coming back into the systems that they've kind of left behind more or less because they feel like it's been done, or because there's just so much already going on. They want something new and original for themselves so they can own it and they can present it. But like it's oh .com in the chat says he did continue his statement. He said that from such a disaster, so on, an ear to the consumers of your product is evident enough to we gamers that we have become the standard bearers ourselves to the formula that Hello Games has pioneered. Simple as it may seem in hindsight, Hello Games has demonstrated this like no other. Problems? We'll address them. Oh, and here's more. Thank you, Hello Games, for being developers with a mindset that is also players yourselves. You give us what you yourselves would want as gamers. 3 cheers for this formula propagating. And he says, "LOL, you do on Xbox." Oh. I guess DK built us a pretty big farm on Xbox in the Pidstain system. That's awesome, dude.
It's a huge farm actually.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Like, honestly, like, I. The only thing that's stopping me from starting a save on Xbox is that I have this, like, feeling in my gut that I'm going to end up, like, really
Do you have
torn.
do you have the physical copy on Xbox?
No, but I could, like, easily get the digital one or grab a physical one from GameStop for pretty cheap right now. But
I own the digital and the physical copy for Xbox if you ever want to borrow the physical copy.
oh snap! I mean, that might be cool. Just so that way, at least I can make a character, go and throw down a computer in Pidstain, and like maybe even like
Well, and you'd be able to hang out with members of the community that I've played with .com a couple times on Xbox. I've played with Spark and a couple of the guys and stuff like that who helped me kick off my permadeath save. So
oh snap!
it would be fun
Panda's on the permadeath, huh?
on Xbox. Yeah,
Ooh, risky.
.com's been helping me out with it.
I have I have all of my saves taken up on PS4 except for the last one, and this is my approach. Is so my primary save, which is this one, is a Martian. And there is still a storyline that I've got posted in the Amino for FDI that that is like if somebody wants to go to my Amino account, you can find like a couple of short stories that I've written, and they seem separate. But since you're watching the stream now and I'm talking about it, I'll give you guys some teasers as to what was going on there in the developmental stage. Is that this character model is a Martian, and like No Man's Sky kind of likes to hint, we are in some kind of simulation or something. We're in the wrong place. We don't belong here, and this Martian that I am doesn't either. And so it was going to be a kind of story of the Martians from Mars having been captured by humans on Earth, and since they began to give their technology to the humans, they became exiled by their own species and considered traitors. And then the Martians from Mars vowed never to reveal themselves to any of the living things inside of their own system because it wasn't what they believed to be right. And so when they did this, they disappeared and vanished, and they abandoned all of the Martians on Earth that were trapped inside of Area 51. Those Martians inside of Area 51 developed a mothership that was a subterranean base for the Earthlings inside of Area 51, and they started dealing with atom collision and stuff like that. Martians, as our conspiracies here in the real world go, have some level of telekinetic abilities. So they basically can use their telekinesis to deal with fusion reactors and to deal with nuclear power.
Hold on. What are we talking about here? Is this like RP?
Yeah, this is the RP and the amino that I was writing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and like so basically they can use their telekinetic abilities to deal with nuclear technology. So whenever there was an atomic explosion about to happen, they can sense it, they can contain it, and they can control it and redirect it into storable energy, basically. And they also have advanced technology that allows them to do things like teleport and warp. The human beings do not have these telekinetic abilities. And so whenever the Martians found out that their exiled counterparts were giving technology to the humans, they understood this was very dangerous to the entire galaxy, because if they couldn't handle an atom collider, they were going to accidentally create a black hole. And they did. And when they did that, the Martians that were stuck in Area 51, which is this character model that I'm playing as now, they were inside of their subterranean mothership. That subterranean mothership got completely destroyed on entry, and it ended up stuck here on Anya. It is the white structure that is next to the black building that was the first arena that I made. And that was going to be the crashed mothership of the Martians, and I created a second save. The second save looks more like an astronaut, and it is going to be the humans that are inside of their mothership that was built for them.
And before anybody that gets lost, just to reiterate, this is role playing. This is like so some of the people in our hub, like they like to come up with lore for their characters or their bases and stuff like that. When we say RP, we're referring to role playing.
Yes.
The character role playing.
Yes. And so the humans and the Martians at Area 51 together, separated into their independent subterranean ships based on Martian technology. The Martians that were inside of theirs that crash landed on Anya, they knew how to deal with the situation a little bit just to land on a planet. The humans, their mothership went through the black hole, and they didn't have telekinetic abilities to control the technology and to handle all the problems as quickly. So they're just lost in fucking space. And now the roles of our conspiracies here in reality are reversed. And the Martians are an inhabitant here on Anya, out of place, like the humans are on Earth, not sure why we're here, what we're doing, where we come from. The Martians don't know what exactly is going on anymore. And the humans are trying to track them down and observe them from a distance and figure out how to use their technology. But it's reversed. And so
Hey,
the
real quick,
yeah,
sorry, .com says in the chat, 60 plus circuit boards on 3 systems in both permadeath and normal, and even more lubricant can be found. So, very high yield farm.
that's
Very high yield.
awesome.
Yeah, you should borrow my physical Xbox copy, because we could get you started up on like a permadeath or like a regular save or whatever you want to do, and me, you, and .com we could play a session one night, hang out.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
And there's you can just see what the game is like on Xbox, some of the cool places other people have built. You'll get a chance to see some of Telepathetic spaces, so you can get some kind of like some inspiration, see what kind of stuff that he does, and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, it doesn't appear that we're getting crossplay with this update, so the community is once again fractured by platform. But your cuddly panda bear friend tries to have a few copies for the homies.
Hey
to,
man, bro,
to
I'm
be able to
within
hang out.
reach. I'll probably pick that up because like I got sidetracked explaining that RP, but I guess the moral of my topic was actually going to just be that I have two normal saves, and those two normal saves are for the RP because it's easier to do what I want to do there. I have one creative save for the sake of it, and then the last save that I've made is a survival, and that survival save, and this is what I'm doing. Um, my first normal save, I play normally, just no settings changed, and that's this one. My other normal save, that is the human save, quote unquote, or as so I say, the human is no HUD from start, and I will never turn the HUD on. And so that's kind of, I'm also trying to give myself that like experience of like these Martians, they understand what they're doing, they have telekinetic abilities, they can see things from a distance. The humans don't. They don't have a HUD. And so I'm going to tell you right now, the worst thing I've ever experienced in this game is starting off trying to find my crashed ship without a HUD. I spent so much time wandering around aimlessly, dude.
Dude, you have to go to Ivy Mike's channel, YouTube channel, and you can go back. I think he's part of the Gepnik gang, which is like another civilization or hub. But Ivy Mike's a great streamer, and he's got video a lot more a while back. But he would do entire streams in with no HUD. And bro, like I've seen it with my own eyes, like trying to relocate your ship when you don't have a HUD to help you find it. It's gnarly.
It's almost terrifying. Like when I first started, and I had forgotten the way that the game started, kind of. And so without my HUD, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Because I'm not getting notifications for quests or anything. Like, what is it? Oh yeah, that's right. My ship is somewhere. Oh my god, my ship could be anywhere. And I start wandering around, and I got lucky. But when I found my crashed ship, I didn't have what I needed to fix it, right? And then I found myself going to look for supplies, and like say like my ship was anywhere like on that island, and as soon as I would start walking away from it and I would get about to like here, and like there'd be trees in between me and my ship, I'd have to turn around and reorient, like okay, my ship is still over there, I see it, but as soon as I go around this hill, I'm not going to see it anymore, and everything will begin to be hard to tell apart because I don't know the terrain yet. And there were several times that I was just terrified to walk away from my still crashed ship because I was worried I wouldn't find my way back because it was so hard to find it initially. And honestly, if somebody really wants to change the way they experience this game, start a save with no HUD and just do your best never to turn it on. I did turn my HUD on 2 times to triangulate where the ship was because it was such a long search. But it was only for a split second to see the reticle, and then I turned it off, and I allowed myself to kind of like just move in closer and closer and closer, and when I never found it, I turned it on one more time to reorient myself. Now my final two saves, I'm waiting. I have one that's in survival that's this, and it's got a HUD, and I'm waiting until Beyond drops before I make my next survival save to fill up my slots, and that's going to be a survival save with no HUD. That I'm going to do the same thing
Hold
on.
on. Hold on.
Oh
We
snap!
got Slade Braddock in. Says, what up, killers? And then .com says, check KJ's permadeath, the journey to help you. Very cool. .com says it applies to all modes, especially a no HUD game. And Slade Braddock says, popping in just to say hi.
How's it going, Slade? Hey, man. Yeah, the first hour and 30 minutes of this stream, if when you get a chance, I know you said you'd check it out tomorrow, so when you get a chance tomorrow, the first hour and a half of this stream is all taking place in the Rave Grave, and I'm just kind of walking around and showing the lights and how they work and trying my best to explain why I hide them the way I do, what effects that has, and the ways that I hide them. And so I hope any questions you had about what you saw, you can get answers for. When you watch that stream, if you have questions about what you see, dude, just hit me on the amino and ask me directly. And like if you even want to drop like the minute, second, be like, hey, at this point I saw this. Can you explain that or show me that sometime? Like, dude, let me know. Like, Slade says, very, very cool. It's a game changer, bro. Thanks, man. Like, honestly, that base has had... I spent more time in the Rave Grave than I spent on Delta Vista so far, by far.
And to put that in perspective, he built a partial city with a UFO floating above it.
The UFO's incomplete, but it's there.
Oh, and you put the Eye of Sauron as a portal on the top of a building.
I did. Yes. That actually was the whole goal I had from the jump, was as soon as like they said we're building a city, I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm building Sauron's tower in it. And I actually am kind of surprised I managed to sort of replicate it a little. The Terminus really helped, but like yeah, like, dude, like I was so sad when we were building the Delta Vista, and then like Wizard just shows up and he does what Wizard does and builds this awesome thing, and then all of us started noticing the pop problem, and like I can't believe Wizard put that crazy base he built there so fast, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
that crazy gourd, that like big glass centerpiece he put in the center, like the rest of us were like ticking away at our weird little complex builds, and like this dude shows up with whatever you call that thing, and like every time I looked back at it, there's just like 4 whole new levels, and I was like, well, Wizard's here now.
Dude, did you see how he retooled Wizard retooled Vormir to have a PvP arena where the terrain and weather is trapped inside?
What?
Go check it out. It's on Iglio Mega, Anya's Moon. Yeah, go look at it right now.
Right now? What, here?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Let's
gonna
go.
blow your mind.
All right, we're gonna find it right now. We're going to Vormir.
Yeah, bro. It's gonna jack your head up.
.com says, watch it all before you ask questions. I do look forward to your questions and answers as well. We all have different view and cues, so I'd love to hear your cues and answers. You know, he's right, actually, Slade. Like, .com even was asking a couple of questions about stuff I hadn't even thought to explain, and that's kind of why I wanted to expose it to other people that are playing the game a lot more than I am, because like I knew that I'd found something pretty cool with the lights, but as I've said several times already in this stream, like I really just want to see what people who build more than I do can think of with the lights, not just on what they can build, but also like what they can ask me about. Like .com pointed out some things I hadn't realized yet about the way that I had built it, and so I know that you, specifically you, I know some of the statues you build, dude. Like honestly, Slade, I think it would be really cool if you took these lighting implementations back to your dragon statue and applied it to his mouth or something. Like that would be dope as shit. Like I'm just like I feel like you could make some of these weird statues you make like fucking dope. Like like what is it, the panda one? Like 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 I don't know, man. You make some crazy builds, and you tell yourself that you're just like not that great a builder, Slade. But like, I don't see anybody else like throwing up literal statues that like mirror members of the FDI. Like like you built a tribute to Panda that was literally just like a panda. Like I haven't seen anybody else build an animal. That was kind of
A giant panda, and the thing was, he when he did the mouth, he put lights on the inside that make it look like a red tongue sticking out.
no shit.
Yeah, and then he did the Captain Slade or whatever it was, like a animal reserve or whatever. Dude, Slade is such a good builder, but like he's so humble that like he doesn't accept like responsibility for his crazy ass builds. Dude, he built a blue jay. He built a sphinx, a
I've seen that
panda.
Sphinx. It's whack, and I don't know how he got two terminus on it, but whatever.
Yeah, that's not supposed to work. And yeah, dude. And then he built yeah, it was the sphinx, the blue jay, the panda, and then he built a giant dragon.
Yeah, the dragon's my favorite out of like all of his builds. Like partly just because it's a dragon, but like primarily because like I really get gratification out of seeing like those completed ideas. Like he's one of the people I'm talking about who like they come into it with an idea and a goal and a concept and they just deliver it. Like they don't deviate, they don't get distracted or reinvent halfway through. They've they're dedicated, and that's not something I'm very good at. Obviously, my rave grave is a testament to how far off track I can go from where I start, because that was supposed to just be a research facility, and then it's not one at all. Where the hell is this moon? Because you said it's what's the moon called?
It's called Iglio Omega. It's the moon of Anya. Thing about the moon. So
It's
whenever I found Pidstain and I decided that that was going to be the capital system, I knew that there was a moon there, but it was so hard to see and find that I didn't say anything about it. And then like 2 months went by. I think it was like 2 or 3 months went by, and I was streaming, and I was like, so has no one discovered Anya's moon yet? And everybody from the FDI that was in the chat was like, Anya has a moon? And and I was like, yeah, dude. And Wizard was like, Anya doesn't have a moon. And I was like, yeah, I've been on it. It has there's a moon. And then he's like, show me the moon. And I showed the moon, and he like would not admit for like a day or two that like there was a moon there the whole time.
ooh, I
But
found
it's
it.
yeah, it's so weird that it's
Wow.
like it's hard to spot. Yeah.
What do you know? I put oh wait, hold on, is that oh yep, okay, so I gotta figure out which of these bases is Vormir, because both of them belong to you now. But as it turns out, I put something on Igli Omega. Oh, is this a radioactive planet?
I don't know what it is. It's terribly destructive and horrifying.
Oh,
It's
great.
that's what the fuck it is.
I wonder what the hell I was doing there. Like,
The what's it called? Yeah, you'll know when it's wizards because Vormir has he built like a turtle, not a turtle, a,
oh no.
a portal out of blocks.
Well, that's it. I crashed.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Did you land at Vormir and it crashed?
No, I was approaching